What's going on, guys? Welcome back to an episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay. Today I'm joined by Patrick Moynihan. Pat, welcome to the show.
Hi, George. How's it going? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, anytime, man. So before we get into the questions, could you just introduce yourself, where you are now with your sport, and where you've been in the past?
Yep. So right now I'm going to my sophomore year at Providence. In the past, before I got to Providence, I played for the National Team Development Program in Michigan for 2 years. And then before that, I was at Noble and Greeno School in Dedham, playing prep hockey there.
That's a pretty long hockey journey. So when you're at Nobles, what's the process like to enroll and join the U.S. National Development Team?
Yeah, so I think the end of my sophomore year in March, the camp called the Top 40 Camp, where USA Hockey invites 40 players, which is basically 2 teams, and it's a week-long camp where there's multiple scrimmages, practices, and workouts where they kind of ultimately pick the team for the upcoming year.
Awesome. So what's it like to be in that program? Because just a few years ago, some of the biggest names in the game, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, they were a part of that program too. So does it have a special feel to it to be a part of it?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a true honor to play there, and an amazing experience from my 2 years there. They have all the tools to help you get to the next level. If it's in the weight room, on the ice, the video room, the coaches are there to help you be a better person and be a better hockey player.
Seems like it's worked out so far at the collegiate level. So you grew up in Millis, Massachusetts, which is 45 minutes from Providence, and Boston, Massachusetts. The Bruins have a great hockey culture because of their success. What was it like growing up in that culture, and how did it help you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember, when I first started playing hockey, I'd wake up early in the morning and watch the past night's highlights of the Bruins. They're always my favorite team growing up, especially when they won in 2011. It was something that was awesome to watch, and it was just a memory I always have forever watching them win that.
That's awesome. So when you're playing with the U.S. development team at the junior level, you probably had a lot of options to where you wanted to go for college hockey, especially being close to the Boston area and Rhode Island. What made you choose PC?
Yeah, I think right away, just the school as a whole and the community that is there. It was something right when I got on campus I knew it was something different and special I hadn't seen before. The coaching staff with Nate Lehman, Ron Rolston, and Coach Beal there as well. It's something that you don't see a lot, especially in college hockey with those coaches and how good they are. I kind of have faith in them to help me, and they definitely had faith in me to come into Providence and make an impact. Just have those guys behind you and put you on the right path is something that I'm excited for them to do, and I knew they could do that for me.
Yeah, it's really amazing how much the culture has changed since Coach Lehman came. He really changed the program. So prior to coming to PC, you were drafted by the New Jersey Devils. What was it like going to that first camp and being drafted? Because, you got to go with a teammate and Tice Thompson. And you were with the number 1 draft pick, Jack Hughes, who you probably knew prior to that.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. That day was definitely, one I'll remember for a lifetime. And just see my name called and pop up on the screen, I was so excited. And then the transition to that first camp, I've been good friends with Jack over the last couple of years playing at the program. So I was pumped that he's able to get drafted, first overall for New Jersey. And I knew Tice a little bit before going to school, but didn't know him too well. So it was also nice to meet him for the first time and be able to skate with him. But being at a first camp like that, it's definitely stressful, kind of going out there to try to compete and make a name for yourself. But overall, I think we were there for about a week at the practice facility in New Jersey. It was just really cool being. It kind of just felt like you kind of were a pro for a week. So it was a great time and something I look forward to.
Yeah, definitely a great feeling, and hopefully end up there one day with the team. So coming into this freshman season for you, seems like a lot of high pressure because the team just made the Frozen Four last year. They lost a lot of offensive threats like Casper Bjorkquist, Brandon Duhaime, Josh Wilkins. Did you feel some sort of pressure coming in, and what were the positives coming out of freshman year, even though it did get cut short?
Yeah, I don't know if going in, I felt that much pressure. I was, still a freshman. I was just trying to prove myself every single day. Coming in, I knew a lot of key players left the year before from that great team they had on that Frozen Four run. We have a great class, the class I was a part of last year. And I think beginning of the year, we knew we were a younger team. So we know a lot of guys are going to step up, even if you're a freshman or even a sophomore, that maybe in other schools you're not going to have to. But something that Coach Lehman always kind of harped on since we got on campus was execution over experience. And that was kind of something that we talked about a lot over the year. But I don't think pressure is really anything. I kind of, lean on my teammates, help me out, and especially older guys with how young our team was. But I'm really excited to get back on campus and start going again.
For sure. That's something that actually Gabe said in our interview, how important Coach Lehman really stresses the execution part. So you had 21 points in your freshman year. That's very impressive for a freshman. You led Hockey East in power play goals. What do you think were the keys to that success?
I think just going in there with a good attitude every day. I'm not someone to shy away from hard work. So, if it's staying after shooting pucks with one of the coaches or getting there early or just another lift, I'm not afraid to do so. But I think the players are able to play with Tice. He's an amazing player. Obviously, Jack Dugan just signed a couple days ago, made it official. I was on the receiving end of so many great passes from him and great plays. So I think the team has helped me a lot, on the ice, especially with that power play unit. I was on the receiving end, but I think the hard part was, players doing the play before that. So I think just the teammates and the team as a whole really helped me this year.
Yeah, so specifically, what was it like to play with, those great teammates, like you mentioned, Greg Prince, Tice Thompson, Jack Dugan, all who really had record-setting seasons, and their ceiling's so much higher than where they are now. How much did that help you in terms of the learning perspective?
Yeah, I think it helped a ton. I remember just getting there at first. I know those guys would definitely be the leaders of our team that had to kind of step up for us. And just being able to, be on the ice with them and kind of pick their brain a little bit, and kind of take things from them and try to implement in my game. It was awesome. And it's something I'm going to keep trying to do next year with, Tice there, if it's, competing against him in practice and just see little things that he does that's better than me and trying to just kind of put in my game. But playing with those guys, especially with Dukes and Princey, it's the kind of guys I looked up to, and I would do anything for them.
That's a great answer. So I know the season got cut short this year, but was there one thing that stuck out the most? I mean, you guys had so many great wins, out in Vegas or even the beginning of the year with the big win against Maine. Did something stick out? Because, you guys are such a close unit as a team.
Yeah, I think the coolest experience this year was definitely Vegas. It was my first time being there, and obviously the city's crazy, but we ended up winning the tournament in a shootout with Duke scoring in front of the Vegas crowd, which is awesome. And being a Cornell team that was having a tremendous year at the time. So I think before the season got short, that was definitely one of our highlights, and it was definitely a really cool moment.
Probably a different city when you have to win a hockey game as opposed to having more fun, huh?
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
So with the pandemic going on, people have had to adapt in pretty much anything that they do, what profession you're in. How have you adapted as a hockey player with your training and really staying on top of things? Like, do you guys still keep in contact as much as you normally would in an off season, or how's that going?
Yeah, so we had meetings, I'd say at the beginning of the whole quarantine, it was every week. We kind of had small groups of guys that talked about stuff we wanted to carry into next season, stuff we could do better, and even had watched a little bit of film as well. I guess right now we're kind of in check-in meetings kind of every 2 weeks to see what guys are doing, and especially updates about next year and our season as a whole. But I think for everybody, once our season got cut short, I think most guys kind of took some time off to kind of heal a little bit and rest. But it was definitely something that was a lot different trying to get back into things, because especially in Massachusetts, it took a while for the rinks to get open and the gyms. So it was kind of a time where guys kind of had to do things kind of unorthodox at home with weights that they may not have or certain workouts. But it was definitely a crazy experience, but I think it's going to help us a lot.
Yeah, so I got to ask, how has it impacted your training in terms of skating? Because, if you play soccer, all you need is just get back out on a turf field. Basketball, you just got to find a court. Football, you see so many pro athletes just especially the NFL guys, really getting after it with the workouts and on the turf. How has it changed with skating?
Yeah, it's definitely different with the sport of hockey. I think at first when rinks were closed and no one could really get ice at all, a lot of us kind of leaned to doing street hockey and rollerblading as much as we could. It is kind of similar to skating. It translates a little bit, but I think the biggest thing is just not being able to go to the rink. It was kind of ripping pucks every day. Stick handling, even if it was watching film with different players, just trying to do little things that you get better at, even though you couldn't get on the ice. Yeah,
it just shows you got to adapt. So my last question is, in my 4 years at Providence College, one thing I noticed with the hockey team was that the more guys that came back the next season, the better the team was in the long run. The Frozen 4 year, they brought back a lot of guys. the year they were so close and lost to Notre Dame, they brought back most of the roster. Even though you guys just lost Jack Dugan, when you guys get back on the ice, there's going to be a lot of familiar faces. What do you think the ceiling is for this group over the next 1 to 3 years?
Yeah, I think every year now on could be a national championship, and that was the goal from last year, and I think it should be for every year. With the coaching staff we have and the players in our locker room, I think kind of the sky's the limit for this group, and I think that's why everybody's kind of itching to get back on campus to start training again and get ready for next year, because I feel like the guys returning, it kind of left a sour taste in their mouth with the way things ended with all the COVID stuff. But the group we have in the leadership, I think national championship is definitely the goal.
I can definitely see that happening too. And also, I think the Frozen Four next season, not this coming season, is in Boston. That'd be a great story, especially that was the place where they first won it. And I'm sure you remember seeing that happen. But Patrick, I appreciate you for coming on my show, and can't wait to see you get back on the ice again.
Yeah, thank you, George. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yep. How are you going?